Welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Jaswinder Kumar, Assistant Professor, University Institute of Hotel and Tourism Management, Punjab University, Chandigarh. Today, we will discuss about mass vis-a-vis selective tourism, and the main objectives of this module are to understand the concept of selective tourism and to know the various types of selective tourism. First of all, let us understand the concept of selective tourism and how it is different from mass tourism. Modern tourism is markedly termed with selective tourism. It is a counterbalance for mass tourism. Selective tourism was developed as something opposite to the conventional mass tourism. Selective tourism occurs in response to the negative implications of mass tourism. The awareness of the unsustainability of mass tourism and the need for tourism demand to separate from a unified tourism package had led to shift in tourist flows. The most important characteristic of selective tourism is placing tourists in the focus in shaping the tourist product. Through dispersion and diversification of tourist supply and the tourist product is adapted to smaller groups of tourists, stimulating regional development concepts. The dispersed concentration of tourist demands ensures substantial regional development that benefits the local community, but also increasingly demanding diversified demand. Selective tourism is defined as the organization of different types of tourism harmonized with the natural and social values of local communities that allow its host and guests to enjoy a positive and valuable experience through mutual interactions. Due to its versatility, there are numerous classifications of selective forms of tourism. Dear students, let us discuss about various types of selective tourism. Number 1. The cultural tourism as selective tourism. Cultural tourism can be defined as a trip motivated by culture, which includes festivals and similar events, visit to historical sites and monuments, as well as study nature, folklore or art. Cultural motivation reflects specific characteristics of cultural tourists who have a higher prosperity to spend and in general have higher average income. They often do not spend on homogeneous mass products, being more interested in local quality goods, and in cultural events such as shows, concerts, exhibitions with higher value added and which benefits are more likely to be evenly spread within the local economy. Cultural motivation of travel differences cultural tourism from other types. Ecotourism as selective tourism. Ecotourism is nature-based tourism that is ecologically sustainable and is based on relatively undisturbed natural areas, and it is non-demanding and non-degrading, provides a direct contribution to the continued production and management of protected areas used. It is subject to an adequate and appropriate management regime. Ecotourism involves all forms of tourism related to nature with responsible behavior toward the natural and cultural environment. It is based on the principle of management through the planning of tourism products, in which services are provided by small local specialized companies supplying small groups of visitors. Ecotourism is the most current type of selective tourism. The question is whether it is also a method of overcoming the seasonality of tourism. Next, the nautical tourism as selective tourism. Nautical tourism is considered one of the most propulsive kinds of recreational tourism. It is a tourist phenomenon that is developing rapidly on regional and local level. This form of maritime tourism is gaining momentum and is becoming one of the leading forms of tourism with significant economic implications. Nautical tourism stems from navigation and stationary at sea and water of domestic and foreign tourists for leisure and entertainment. Its growth has developed some subtypes shaped in special selective types, and as such they have been developing on their own. Those are nautical tourism, ports, charter and cruising. Nautical tourism contributes to the general development of the economy of any country or any area by fostering their growth and development through both their current activities and those related with them horizontally, such as excursion tourism, diving tourism, photo safari, servicing, or vertically, such as handicrafts, shipbuilding, and so on. And all those activities contribute to the growth in employment of domicile inhabitants, which is particularly important for insular economy. Role of nautical tourism in the modern tourist flows is significant, but the demand dispersion and uniform concentration throughout the year is also to be considered in this. Next, the coastal tourism as selective tourism. Coastal tourism is based on a unique resource combination at the border of land and sea environments such as sun, water, beaches, outstanding scenic views, rich biological diversity such as birds, corals, whales, sharks, etc., seafood and good transportation infrastructure. Based on these resources, various profitable services have been developed. Many coastal destinations such as well-maintained beaches, boat trips, bird watching tours, restaurants or medical facilities are also included. In the middle of 20th century, coastal tourism in various parts of the world turned into mass tourism and became affordable for nearly everyone. The coastal tourism sector is getting increasingly competitive with tourists expecting more quality for the lowest possible price. Today, tourists expect more than sun, sea and sand, and they demand a wide variety of associated leisure activities and experiences including sports, cuisine, culture and natural attractions. At the same time, local people in the traditional tourist destinations are increasingly anxious to preserve their own identity, environment and their natural, historic and cultural heritage from negative impacts. Mountain tourism as selective tourism. Mountains can aid tourism and bring in money for the people who live there. More than 50 million people visit mountains each year. Many mountain towns around the world depend on tourists to support them. People in the town provide food and lodging for tourists who come to enjoy the nearby mountains. About 13 million people live in the Alps and about 100 million visitors visit the Alps each year. Mountains can be placed for the leisure activities. Many people like to ski on the mountains. Others like to climb mountains. Some like to just visit mountains to take photographs and admire their beauty. Tourists are attracted to mountains for certain reasons such as the climate and the clean air, the varied topography, the beautiful scenery, local traditions, simple lifestyles, sports that require steep slopes or winter snow. Sports tourism has increased over the past 30 years. Typical mountain activities are mountaineering, paragliding, summer activities like walking, hiking, bird watching, rafting, mountain biking, winter activities such as skiing, snowboarding, sledging, ice fall climbing, snowshoe trekking, winter walking, ice skating, etc. Although mountain tourism has its advantages, but it can have serious impact on the environment, the people who live there and the local economy. As more and more people visit the mountains, whether to climb or simply to trek through the valleys, the chances of environment being permanently damaged become ever greater. Next is city tourism as a selective tourism. City tourism as a selective tourism is also a growing segment since many years. People with the means and inclination to experience the different towns and cities for multiplicity of experiences. The ancient cities with having different culture, art, music, literature, and of course magnificent architecture and urban design is prime fascination for the tourist. The concentration, variety and quality of activities and attributes have created the attraction and cities in the tourism map. City tourism has always been a daunting task for both public and the private sector. Its multifunctional nature makes it complicated to plan and manage. Metropolitan areas are quickly growing and new issues and challenges are emerging. Tourism in various countries and in major cities are attracting tourists, but also some negative impacts are also being created. Tourism have become a very important element of people's life. They want to visit and experience other cities. City tourism becomes an area of interest for many decades and it has been mentioned in various publications, researches and write-ups. The birth of low-cost airlines has also brought an increased interest in cities and their development in terms of tourism, such as European cities had to adapt their marketing activities to attract a new type of product, that is city breaks. Cities appeal to a broader market. They are easy to reach and they have a lot to offer. This also brings a new spending pattern that can go from those staying in budget hotels to the 5-star hotel customers, but all have one thing in mind: they want to discover and visit other cities. Cities need to assess their products and understand which of their products offering appeal to them in the market. Next, the cultural tourism as a selective tourism. Cultural tourism is the subset of tourism concerned with the traveler's engagement with the country or region's culture, specifically the lifestyle of people in those geographical areas, the history of those people, their art, architecture, religion, and other elements that helped shape their way of life. Cultural tourism includes tourism in urban areas, particularly historic or larger cities, and their cultural facilities such as museums and theatres. It can also include tourism in rural areas, showcasing the traditions of indigenous cultural communities such as festivals and rituals and their values and lifestyles. The niches like industrial tourism and creative tourism are also associated with it. Cultural tourists spend substantially more than standard tourists do. This form of tourism is also becoming generally more popular throughout the world. Cultural tourism can play a significant role in regional development in the different regions of the world. The World Tourism Organization has stated that cultural tourism is growing at 15% per year. Next is MICE tourism. Meeting, incentives, conferences and exhibitions, or MICE, is a type of tourism in which large groups, usually planned well in advance, are brought together for a particular purpose. Recently, there has been an industry trend towards using the term meeting industry to avoid confusion from the acronym. Other industry educators are recommending the use of events industry to be an umbrella term for the vast scope of meeting and events profession. Most components of MICE are well understood, perhaps with the exception of incentives. Incentive tourism is usually undertaken as a type of employee reward by a company or institution for the targets met or exceeded or a job well done. Incentive tourism is usually conducted purely for entertainment rather than professional or education purpose. MICE events are usually centered on a theme or topic and are aimed at a professional, school, academic or trade organization or special interest groups. MICE event locations are normally bid on by specialized convention bureaus in particular countries and cities and established for the purpose of bidding on MICE activities. This process of marketing and bidding is normally conducted well in advance of that event, often several years, as securing major events can benefit the local economy of the host city or country. Convention bureaus offer financial subsidies to attract MICE events to their cities. Today, it is usually used to boost the hotel revenues. Next is culinary tourism as a selective tourism. Nowadays, food and wine lovers enjoy exploring new destinations that are having culinary tourism fascinations. Culinary tours, food and wine events, and food competitions give travelers a chance to visit new destinations and experience new cuisines. The trip involves an opportunity to learn new cooking techniques and to attend food and wine tastings. The culinary adventure can be a welcome change from the standard travel itinerary. The goal of culinary tourism is to educate and inspire food and wine lovers while giving the traveler a chance to explore the local area and learn about local food trends, cooking techniques, and food history. Travelers can do so by participating in a cultural immersion experience at selected destinations around the globe. Culinary tours and travel packages can include a wide range of activities related to cooking, food sampling, food trends, wine making and baking. In addition to restaurant weeks in different cities, dining events and cooking competitions, culinary tourism includes culinary experiences such as winery and brewery tours, tours of restaurants and food manufacturing plants, conferences and events with culinary professionals and cookbook authors and ethnic food tastings. Next is wellness tourism as selective tourism. Wellness tourism is a travel for the purpose of promoting health and well-being through physical, psychological or spiritual activities. While wellness tourism is often correlated with medical tourism because health interests motivate the traveler, wellness tourists are proactive in seeking to improve or maintain health and quality of life. It often focuses on prevention while medical tourists generally travel reactively to receive treatment for a diagnosed disease or condition. The wellness tourism market includes primary and secondary wellness tourists. Primary wellness tourists travel entirely for wellness purposes, while secondary wellness tourists engage in wellness related activities as part of trip. Secondary wellness tourists constitute the significant majority of total wellness tourism. Wellness travelers pursue diverse services including physical fitness and sports, beauty treatments, healthy diet and weight management, relaxation and stress relief, meditation, yoga, and health related education. Wellness travelers may seek procedures or treatments using conventional, alternative, complementary, herbal, or homeopathic medicine. Next is nautical tourism as selective tourism. Nautical tourism combines sailing and boating with vacation and holiday activities. It can be traveling from port to port in a cruise ship or joining boat-centered events such as regattas or lending a small boat for lunch or other day recreation at specially prepared day boat landings. It is a form of tourism that is generally more popular in summertime. It is a segment of tourism industry and has caught attention in all parts of the world. Many tourists who enjoy sailing combine water travel with other activities. Supplying the equipment and accessories for those activities has also become a part of the business. With many nautical enthusiasts living on board their vessels, even in port, nautical tourists bring demand for a variety of goods and services. Rural tourism as selective tourism. Rural tourism focuses on actively participating in a rural lifestyle. It can be a variant of ecotourism. Many rural villages can facilitate tourism because many villagers are hospitable and eager to welcome the host or visitors. Agriculture is becoming highly mechanized and requires less manual labor. This trend is causing economic pressure on some villages, which in turn causes young people to move to urban areas. There is, however, a segment of the urban population that is interested in visiting the rural areas and understanding the lifestyle. Rural tourism allows the creation of a replacement source of income in the non-agriculture sector for rural dwellers. The added income from rural tourism can contribute to the revival of lost folk art and handicrafts. Rural tourism is relevant in developing nations where farmland has become fragmented due to population growth. The wealth that rural tourism can provide to poor households creates greater prospects for development. Next is ecotourism as selective tourism. Ecotourism is a form of tourism involving visiting fragile, pristine and relatively undisturbed natural areas intended as a low impact and often small scale alternative to standard commercial or mass tourism. It is a responsible travel to the natural areas, conserving the environment and improving the well-being of local people. Its purpose is to educate the traveler, to provide funds for ecological conservation, to directly benefit the economic development of local communities, and enhance the respect for different cultures for human rights. Ecotourism has been considered as a critical endeavor by environmentalists so that future generations may experience destinations relatively untouched by human intervention. It deals with interaction with biotic components of the natural environments. Ecotourism focuses on socially responsible travel, personal growth, and environmental sustainability. It involves travel to destinations where flora, fauna, and cultural heritage are primary attractions. Ecotourism is intended to offer tourists an insight into the impact of human beings on the environment and to foster a greater appreciation of our natural habitats. There are various responsible ecotourism programs, and these includes those activities which minimizes the negative environmental and cultural impacts and enhances the positive dimensions of the same. Ecotourism is promoting various aspects such as recycling, energy efficiency, water conservation, creation of economic opportunities for local communities. For these reasons, ecotourism appeals to advocates of environmental and social responsibility. Dear students, we can understand that diversification for selective deliveries or selective tourism can contribute for sustainable development. Selective tourism is a natural complement for mass tourism, as mass tourism has created very negative impacts upon nature and society. The selective tourism can enhance the positive experiences and positive impacts in the destinations. The selective tourism can broaden the destination's product base, allowing further development of touring circuits and enhancing the competitiveness of destinations in national and international market. Selective tourism can attract high-yield tourists who will appreciate the environmental and cultural heritage resources of the destination. The proximity of tourism generating market can be an advantage, and it can provide an opportunity to diversify away from the limited number of key tourism markets. It can reduce the chronic seasonality experienced in the mass tourism destinations, and it can increase accommodation occupancy in the months of off-season. It can reduce the intense geographical concentration of mass tourism at large coastal areas and mountain reserves, and selective tourism can benefit the economy of rural and offbeat destinations while enhancing the employment opportunities and the growth for sustainable development. Thank you very much.